this is the website. It's just a GitHub page, and this is what we're going to be using. So you can reference this whenever you're teaching as well. But
Dude, that's awesome.
I wanted to demo just how to do some of this stuff. So it's not just a whatever. So I'm moving some of the Zoom tools to another screen. So the first thing I do is I go to
Yeah.
google.com. So you want to go to Google, open up Chrome web browsers and go to google.com. Let me know when you're there. Just raise your hand or give me some sort of signal.
Got it. Oh, and just a heads up
Yes.
for
Okay.
everybody
Cool.
too.
Good. Thumbs up.
Just yeah, just a heads up. Noah also has an MK Docs workshop video that we have too. If you guys want to learn how to make MK Docs for your own projects too, so we also have that.
Definitely. Definitely. And this is completely free. The hosting's completely free too. And it's on GitHub. So all you need to do is have Python 3 installed on your local machine. Okay, cool. So I'm on google.com. I'm going to right click. So if I'm on the Mac, I'm going to control click and then click inspect. Has everyone done that? Just give me a thumbs up to let me know that that you have inspect. Thumbs up. Good.
Ooh,
Okay, cool.
question, Noah. I mean, when we do this project, like, it's preferable if we're hacking Google through Chrome. Like, would it be okay to also hack it through Safari, Firefox, or just use Chrome for this project?
I think for this one, I would just use Chrome. But if you're familiar with those dev tools, like Firefox has really good dev tools. Definitely don't be afraid to show them Firefox dev tools. Chrome's a little bit easier, I think, to navigate through as far as their dev tools, but Firefoxes are a little bit more powerful. So it just depends. Did that answer?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Cool.
Cool. Okay, so the way this works is we've got our element here. So this is all of our HTML code right here in Elements. And then console is where you would paste in JavaScript. But we're going to look at elements for right now. And I'm going to scroll up and I'm going to select the body element. So that's the one that has body in it. And notice how everything highlighted when I hover over the body. So then if I scroll down here, I'm in the styles tab. And if I want to write a style for the body, I can do that by clicking into it. So I clicked into it and I'm going to write in background dash color. And then I'm just going to type in a color. So I'm going to do aqua white. I don't know what aqua white is, but I'm just going to do it. And you can see the whole page turns aqua white, whatever that color is. Now, if I want a custom color, right, what I can do is I can click on the color swatch and I can adjust the color like so. And you can see it just changes color to whatever I want it to be. So go ahead and play around with that. And the other thing to note too is I can use this toggle and I can, let me select it again, and I can then select the color I want. So if I want it to be white, or what a lot of kids like to do is they like to make it match the color of the actual letters. So I can kind of blend that in. And you can also do the transparency as well.
I was totally trying to look up if puke was a value, but it's not.
Oh, damn.
Papaya whip. Interesting.
So I'm gonna move this. Okay, cool. So we've changed the color, but so I'm just copying and pasting from my website. So I'm just gonna go over it from that. So so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy this background image section. So I'm gonna do Command C or Control C, and I'm gonna click inside the element.style. I'm gonna paste that in. And you can see it. I now have a custom background image. that I can use. Now, if I want to change that background image size, right, what I can do is I can say background dash size and then specify the number of pixels. So I can do 100 pixels. Now, one thing that kids like to do and what I like to do too is I like to highlight the value and use my up and down arrow key to see the results. So now I'm increasing it by 1 or I'm decreasing it by 1. And kids love to make it really like go like 10 pixels and you can barely see it, or 12 pixels. Yeah, so you can see it's like a bunch of little blobs of things, or they'll make it like really, they'll go like 10,000 or something ridiculous, you know? So just something insane. So that's, but yeah, but just encourage them to do that because it's not going to break anything. And that's how they'll learn what that does. So that increased the background size to 10,000 pixels by 10,000 pixels. You can control the width and the height too. So if you want like 10 pixels, you can do ridiculous stuff with this. So that's good. So I'm going to take it back to 100 pixels. And if you have any questions, please stop me. Or if you get lost at all, please just stop me. So one thing you can do too is you can do a background repeat. And then you can do repeat X, and that'll repeat it along the X axis. And you can do repeat Y, and that will repeat it along the Y axis. So that's something else to note about these Chrome developer tools is that you type in the name of the CSS that you want. So background repeat, you can then do tab, and then it gives you this nice drop-down box. And you can see like what everything does. So you can see no repeat does this. So you can have them toggle through it and just kind of see what the effects are of all this is. So
Noah, Noah, for the background images, like how do you talk students through that? Like when, yeah, you know, like when you get to like messing around with that element, like yeah, how do you guide them through like Googling it or?
So usually what I do is I have them, I don't just use a background image. I have them find a background image they want to use.
Yeah.
And then I have them type in, what I'll do is I'll tell them, like with Toby, I'll tell them type in background dash image, and I'll do tab, and then I'll say type in URL, parentheses, parentheses, and I'll leave it like that, right? And then I'll go do a search for, I'll do like, let's go to google.com. And what I'll do is I'll look up, they won't get dogs, but I will. And I'll find a image of a dog that I can use. So let's pick this one because he seems happy. So then I'll I'll tell them to right click on the image and I'll say, copy image address. And I'll have that person paste it in there just to make sure it's a valid image. And this one looks like a valid image. So then I can go back to my Google and I'll have them go in between the URL and paste that in. And that's how I would walk somebody through it. Is that what you were after?
Yeah, totally.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure. So we'll keep this image because this image is a little bit more fun. But you can see like, actually that's a lot more fun. Yeah. So now we have 100 dogs. Okay. So one thing that,
sorry, I just had one question.
I'll go for it.
So when you put the background image URL in, how do you make it like go to the entire screen? Because mine's coming like instead of manually setting the like 100 or 800 px.
Good question. So that's the next one is that you can do instead of doing, you can do cover for the size and it'll cover up the whole screen.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem. So we'll actually keep it like this because the next thing I want to show you, and this really, I learned this just messing around with this, honestly, is you can do a blend mode. So say we want to blend the image and the color together. You can do this in CSS now. So you can do background blend mode. So background blend mode, and you can see it's auto repeating. So I can do a tab, and then I can kind of look at the effects of all this. So I can, I don't want to revert, but let me see. So I can see what color burn looks like, dark, and it's blending those two colors together. So there's all these like crazy effects you can do, and I've found that kids really like these effects. And usually I'm during this lesson, like I'm stopping and just encouraging them to play around. This is kind of a play around lesson. So yeah, so we'll keep it like that. So oops, so that's background blend mode, and we'll do that. Okay. And then I can even mess around with the color by clicking on the color and seeing what the effects are. So if I go to a blue, I now have a blue dog. Oops. So yeah, so the Chrome developer tools really encourage you to just play around and just kind of make something crazy. If that makes sense. Okay. Does anyone have any questions, or, and I'm going to copy this CSS and paste this into the chat. So what a lot of kids like to do too is they'll copy this CSS and then they'll paste it in, and then later on they'll try to spoof their parents, or they'll try to mess around with their classmates. So which is good. That's what we want. That's what we want. So it sounds a little weird, but yeah. So yeah, so now I have my purple dog, and that's looking really cool. So a really fun thing to do with the kids or with the students is the transform. So the transform property, the best way to show you is just to look at it. So I typed in transform, then tab, and then I'm going to go into rotate, and I'm just going to hit tab, and now I'm rotating around. So this is where this is where you really want to use the arrow keys, because you can see it like rotating around, and then they can make it go backwards. It's a little slow because of this blend mode, but we'll take out the blend mode just for the rotate.
I can already see moms and dads like yelling at their kid after this happens.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Turn it back to the way it was.
Well, I actually showed them how to make a Chrome extension to make this permanent.
Oh no.
So, but we can go over that another session. But yeah, so now,
so I have a question about, like, so you have them preserve the CSS. Do you have them put it in like a Replit or like a Google Drive doc, or where do you advise that they save it usually?
They just save it on they just email it to themselves, or they put it on Google Drive themselves. It's yeah, so they just save it themselves, because so this is something that they'll actually share with their friends. So they will they'll paste this on their Discord channels or their whatever kids are using. So that the rotate's pretty cool, but you can also do one thing that really is freaky is rotate 3D. So if I select the 45, you can kind of see what that looks like. So kind of gives like a trippy effect.
That's so cool.
So you can do, and there's all sorts of ones here. So you can do skews fun. So skew is so you can select one of these, and you can see, so I'm skewing it along the y-axis right now, and you can skew it along the x-axis. And so you can kind of see this kind of 3D look. So yeah, I just encourage you to play with it. Matrix will do them all, so it's a little bit more advanced, but that's what Matrix does. You can do scale. So scale will make it big. So you can make it super small. Actually, that reverses it. I didn't know that. One thing that's fun to do too is there's these rotate 3D properties. So you can rotate along the x-axis. And to really get what it's doing, you have to use the arrow key. So you can see it's literally flipping along the x-axis. So now the page is upside down. So there's rotate X, and then there's rotate Y, which will rotate around the Y axis. And then you can write a little bit of JavaScript to actually do this on repeat. So you can actually create like a set interval function that will rotate this around continuously as well. So yeah, kids really love that. I think. So we've done that, and that's been a lot of fun. So one thing that you can do as well is clip path. So that's something worth looking into. So I'm gonna show you clip path. So clip path, and then circle. So you can do a circle, and I'm gonna start off at 10 pixels. So you can see everything just kind of disappeared, right? But then if I increase the circle, you can see it's slowly appearing as a circle. So Google will slowly start to appear. And there's all sorts of crazy ones you can do. There's polygons, there's ellipses. So you can get really funky with this. And you can even do this to an image, which looks way more cool. So if I wanted to do this to the Google image, I would right click on the Google image, and that would take me to the Google image itself. So right now this is the Google image. And then I would type in clip path and then circle 10 pixels or 10 px. And then I can increase it and it'll start to increase like a circle. So a lot of these properties you can apply to the image itself. So that's pretty cool. See how we're doing on time. We're doing really good on time. So some of the other things you can do, and I'm going to scroll up to the body. So I'm going to select the body again, is you can mess with the cursor. So there's a Chrome extension called Custom Cursor that's really popular with my students for some reason. But you can show them how to change the cursor with code. So you do that by typing in cursor, and then I'm gonna select the cursor right here. And you can see it looks like the hand is grabbing. So you can play around with these cursors. So we'll do cross here. That one's kind of cool. So it looks like a little cross here thing. You can do all sorts of, this is like a weird resized cursor. So you can go make it look like it's resizing left to right, which is pretty cool. The other thing you can do is you can do a custom image for your cursor as well. So I would just follow the same steps I used for for finding the image. And then but you can kind of see now my cursor's a heart. So they can actually do their own custom cursors, and I can click on it and it acts just like a cursor. So any questions so far, or any? So yeah,
I think another cool thing is, with the cursor, you could have like a sub lesson in that. Like you could send them to, I don't know, one of those graphic, I don't know, like GIMP or something.
yeah.
And they could also design their own icon and then come back to this and then import it in here and then just start messing around with that too.
Definitely. They can definitely do that. You just want to keep it like around 50 pixels, ideally. 50 by 50 or 100 by 100, but you don't want to get super big because I've tried like a big cursor and it'll block you for some reason. Well, probably because it's not usable. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, so I think we've gone through this. So so let's say you're teaching them JavaScript. So one thing that that kids like to do is you can just teach them simple functions. So if I want an alert, right? So if I want an alert message, I can say like, this would be like a kid message. You owe me $100. And then bam, the you owe me $100 is right there. And so you can use the alert, and you can teach them like these little functions like alert. You can do confirm, send me $100, and then it gives you like an okay. And then you can do prompt, enter your bank account number, and then you can see it actually returns what I typed in. And then one thing to note too is that if I hit the up arrow key, I can go back to all the previous things that I typed before. And I can navigate with the up and down arrow keys as well.
So I naturally have a question, like being quasi deviant myself. So teacher Noah, like what if like, hey, I want to do this to my friend. How do I send this JavaScript to my friend? Like, is there a way to like put it on their Chromebook?
Is there a way? Yes, with a Chrome extension, you can. Yeah, so with a Chrome extension, you could download code from the internet and run it. So that's really one thing that JavaScript is really one of the interesting properties of JavaScript is that there's this command that gets a lot of bad press called exec. So I can say alert. I think I can do this. We'll see if this works. Blue. So this is just text, right? This is just alert blue. Okay, so well, I know I can do it with function. So function, let me see. Oh, and then I have to call the function. So there we go. So with a little bit of JavaScript code, you can turn text, just raw text into JavaScript. So this is one of the ways hackers will try to hack a site is through a script injection. So they'll they'll inject custom JavaScript that'll try to take the user's code from them. So that's and I'll paste that in. Yeah, I'm like I said, I'm not I've never hacked a site in my life, so especially because I'm being recorded. No, I really haven't. So that's fun. That's a lot of fun. So one thing you can do is since we've got a lot of extra time, I'm going to show you some really fun stuff. There's a speech synthesis API. And you can actually have browsers say stuff. And this is one of the things that got one of the kids to actually share something that they with their friends. So if you type in speech synthesis .speak, I think, and then it's new utterance. No, speech synthesis utterance. And I'm going to paste this in so you guys can hear this. Testing. We'll do something lame. And then if I hit enter, testing. You can see now it says testing. So I'm going to paste this in. So this is how you make the browser speak. So you can do that. Now, one of the things you can also do is the browser has a lot of voices. So Chromebooks don't have as much as like other computers, but they still have a lot. So if I type in speech synthesis get voices, oops, and I had a, you can see I have 67 voices I can choose from. So these are all the voices that I have on my computer. So my default voice is Alex, but I also have Alice and Anna and Carmen and all these voices. So I can create an utterance. I can say let u equals new utterance, speech synthesis utterance, and then we put in here what we want to say. So testing again. And then I can say u dot rate, and rate will control the speed at which the user's speaking. So if I did like right now, I think it's at -1, but if I did 10, that should make it go really fast. And then if I played that by saying speech synthesis dot speak, and then you can see it goes really fast. So we'll slow it down a little bit. U dot rate equals 2. And we'll run that again.
Testing again.
You can see it goes really quick. So
Testing again.
so yeah, so you can mess around with that. You can also do the pitch as well. So if I wanted a really high pitch, I think that'll create a really high pitch.
Testing again.
I can kind of do that. So yeah, so this is something relatively new in the browser. And yeah, so yeah, I've found that a lot of kids really like to make weird noises. So yeah, so this is provided hours of entertainment for a lot of people.
Testing again.
So yeah, so you can do, yeah, so that's something you can do. I'm gonna send you the Mozilla the Mozilla page on this. The other thing you can do as well is you can do speech recognition. So you can actually have the browser recognize your voice. Now this is still in the experimental stage, but it is but it works with some exceptions. But it's kind of fun to see with students where it works and where it doesn't work, like where it fails and where it succeeds. So just trying out different words. I think that's actually based on AI, so artificial intelligence stuff. So yeah, so you can do, let's see. So you can also, so I could do u.text and I could change the text like, so we could do hello world, and then I can
Hello world.
do that. And I can also change the voice. I can do speech synthesis get voices. And we'll pick a random voice. So I'm going to pick 10. I'm not sure. 10 is Fiona. I don't know how Fiona sounds. So u dot, let's see, voice. And then we'll set it equal to get speech synthesis get voices 11. I think that's it. And then we'll say, we'll just rerun it again.
Hello world.
So yeah, so that we'll slow her down a little bit. So we'll hear something a little bit more. So we'll do text. Hello, I'm Fiona from Nebraska. Hopefully I'm spelling that right. And then we'll play that.
Hello, I'm Fiona from Nebraska.
And there you go. So yeah. So I'm gonna paste some of this in. But does anyone have any questions on this?
And then just to let everyone know too, we'll have this recorded, and we'll also I'll post it up later in the channel too. So if you guys want to rewatch it for some of the things that Noah's doing.
So yeah, so one of the things, so this is a website from a student who used this technology. She's really into ad libs. So she built this thing that generates the ad libs, and then she read it to me.
Once upon a time, there
Let
was
me.
Once upon a time, there was a decentralized fox. He was very sex limited. He loved to eat.
Okay, the
several
sex
raven.
limited part
He
was not
liked it
me.
because
That was
it
the random
tortuously
API.
pumped up.
Um,
So one day he saw a bird sitting in a tree, and it had his favorite food in its mouth. Now, the fox really wanted the food, so he told the bird to dither. The bird refused and said, "No way, postmodernist." So the fox said, "Well, you're so good at it, aren't you?" And the bird said, "Yes, I am. I guess I'll show you how huge I am at it." And the bird opened its mouth, and the fox's favorite food fell out. The fox, to be sure, grabbed it and ate from it away. The end.
so yeah, so you can build stuff like that with that kind of yeah. So you can build stuff like that. So she wants to put in some campfire music and stuff like that, but it's a good introduction. Yeah, just wanted to. So that's an example of that being used, and that took like a good 10 or 12 lessons. So definitely was not like built in one lesson. So don't think if you gotta get there tomorrow, you know.
How do you feel about Glitch as a like site to develop on?
You know what?
There.
I think it's good. I think it's really good because trying to install Visual Studio Code, which I've done numerous times on a lot of students' computers, is like can be a nightmare. You know, trying to install anything on.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Have you tried REPL? And I'm just wondering if you have and why you chose Glitch over it.
I chose Glitch just because. Well, there's a few reasons. To my knowledge, it's the only one that combines the three together. And they have this socket thing where like I can see what they're typing. So I can go onto their screen and see them type without like having to view their screen through Zoom. So like I can see them, I can like monitor two people a lot easier on Glitch than I can like on REPL. So like, yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but
yeah, I gotcha.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, REPL's good though. I use it for like one-off, like when I'm teaching C, like I definitely use REPL.
Yeah, I'm not. I haven't used Glitch myself, so that's what I was asking. Not saying one is better than the other. I'm curious as to your thoughts. Thanks.
Yeah. So, but yeah, it's not. I don't know. I'm really looking forward to Code Spaces. Jimmy brought me onto that. I'm still waiting for my invite to the beta, but that's a GitHub thing. That's probably going to change that's going to change the game for sure. But yeah, so yeah, that's something fun you can do. Is there anything? So we've gone over alerts. So yeah, so one thing you can do too is and sometimes this actually does stay with the browser, is you can write events for certain things. So I'll just finish off with a fun little demo. So let's say I wanted to change the color every time somebody typed into the text color. Google the Google search bar. So I'm going to refresh the page, and that should get rid of everything. So yeah, so every time somebody types into the Google search bar, we want to change the color. So this would be like for when you want to teach functions. So I'm going to right click and inspect on this. We're going to clear that out because that's politics. No one wants. Okay, so we're going to select let's see, we're going to select this guy. So this, okay, cool. So notice it has this GLFYF class. So it has a bunch of these weird classes. So we're going to do document.query selector. And we're gonna do dot that and dot this, and we're gonna hope that the input comes up, and it does. Okay, so this piece of code right here selects the input. Oops. But okay, yeah, let me actually just paste the actual, see if I can do the one thing. There we go. So that's the actual input. Your browser might be a little different. So if I want to add an event to that, all I have to do is say, and I'm going to plus this up so we can see it a little better. So I know I'm going to say add event listener, and we're going to do a key up, and then I'm going to add a function. This will take in an event object, but that's okay. We don't really need it. But what I can do is I can just copy and paste this, and I can say style. So if you wanted to do it in JavaScript, and then the way you would change the font color in CSS, I'm sure you guys know this, is color. And I forgot to get the random color function. So one thing I've been trying to do is getting kids to Google RGB color, RGB random color JavaScript. And then you can get that color. And this looks good to me. So this will generate an RGBA. Or get random RGB. This looks good. Okay, so this will get a random RGB color. So I can literally paste this in. And then I can go back here and I can do add event listener. And we'll do for the key up event. And then I can take in the event object, even though I don't need it. And I can say document.query selector. So let me clear this so that's a little easier to see. Query selector. Dot style. And then we'll do color. And we'll say get random RGB color. And then we'll do a semicolon. And let's see. And I don't think we need a semicolon. Okay, so that should add an event. So in theory, if I type in, you can see every time I type in, it changes the color. So with this little bit of code, when you're ready to start going dynamic with your students, you can start messing around with it. So you can see it's changing my text color every time I type in. So you can, like one thing you could do is you could make it to where when you could do a mouse move event, and when the mouse moves, the Google rotates, you know? So you could turn Google into like a turntable sort of thing. So you could do, you know? So there's a lot of lessons you can get out of this. So yeah. But yeah, I think that's all. I know this is short, but I think that's all I wanted to go over. But I'm happy to answer questions.
No, I had a question about, I was really curious about your glitch thing. So you said that you can use glitch to monitor like your students while they're coding without having them share their screen. Like, is there a way you can demonstrate that with us, or?
Yeah, so I think they have to add you on to glitch. I'm not sure, but okay, so glitch. Is it? I remember it like. Okay, so let me see. Let's see, this site's probably good. So I think if you go here, you'll be able to see it, but let me make sure that's true. Yeah, so I'm in an incognito browser. So if you go to this website, you should be able to see the code. So go ahead and go there, and then I'm gonna type in something you can see it. And you should be able to see me type it in. So you can see like I'm now deleting a world in the index.html file. And so you guys probably can't edit it, but hello people, I'm sorry, but yeah. So you can't edit it, but you can see me typing it. So yeah, so it comes in handy when you have like 2 or 3 students, and you can just quickly toggle versus like toggling with Zoom. Yeah, I guess did that answer it or?
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, because you could always remix to edit this if you wanted to edit it. Let's see.
Should be able to.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bet there's a there's a remix.
No, so you said like let's say if somebody writes their JavaScript and they wanted to like port it over to like one of their friends and have them develop a Google, what was it, a plugin or an extension. I mean, of course, like it's out of the scope of the amount of time that we have, but like what would be some ways to get started on like how to learn how to develop an extension that resources that you recommend? Or
so code I've got YouTube blocked, but there's a YouTube channel. If you just YouTube it, it's really good. But I actually have so this is a little bit of self-promotion, but it's okay because I'm not getting it's a little bit of self-promotion, but it's okay. So I'm going to my GitHub page and I'm gonna go Chrome extensions, and I have the Chrome starter extension, which will get you started. And there's a README cheat sheet that will give you some of the basics.
So cool.
Yeah.
You are the tutorial, basically.
Yeah. So I wouldn't mind doing a Chrome extension crash course. That'll definitely go for an hour or an hour and a half for sure. But we could build one where we can build all sorts of Chrome extensions. And there's all sorts of things they can do. They can store stuff. They can they can do all sorts of things. Also, I have an example of the one that I think kids find cool is this one right here, because it allows you to replace a picture with any picture that you want. So a lot of kids were replacing pictures. You'd right click on it. You could replace a picture with like a Baby Yoda. So you could turn the whole internet into Baby Yodas if you wanted. Yeah, definitely. So, but yeah, it's interesting. It's an interesting thing. Yeah. So yeah, you can see in that one, I'm right clicking and turning everything into Baby Yoda. If you look on the bottom of it, you can see.
Yeah, actually, could you show how that would work, or like, do you have like an example right now?
Yeah, so I can. Okay, so yeah, so Chrome extensions. This is a crash course. So what you do is you go to Chrome / extensions, and I'm going to untoggle this. Just pretend you didn't see it. So what you would do is you would go to the very right of your screen and toggle developer mode, and that'll give you this little thing, and then you want to click on load unpacked, and this will let you load an unpacked extension. So let's find a good extension. So I'm going to go here, and we're going to go to my home projects, Chrome extensions, and let's see, what's a good one? Oh yeah, here's the picture one. So I would navigate to the picture one. So I navigated to my picture one. I'd click select, and now I have my picture ready to go. And I can click on this details page, and it shows me the picture, the version, all that. Now, Chrome extensions are really, really cheap to publish. So if you can talk their parents into spending $5 a year, which you probably can, they can publish up to 20, I think, for $5 a year, but their parents have to publish it. So now if I go click on this and click on pin extension, you can see the extensions right here. And it says replace the picture. So now let's Google some pictures. We've got this extension online, and we'll why not? I'm just picking something random. And then we'll do images. And then I should be able to right click and replace all image. No, it's not working. That's funny. Well, I'll have to debug it. But actually, that brings us to another thing. So if there's an error with the extension, you'll see that as well. The error. You'll see the errors right there. So yeah. But yeah, extensions are great. They're really fun to build. The cool thing about extensions is that so I'm going to open up that one that I just did. So I'm going to open this up in VS Code. So let me exit out of this project, file open, and we'll go into projects, Chrome extensions, and let's do the picture extension. So this is the picture extension. You don't need NPM, so that's overkill. But you can see oh, that's why it's not working. I'm supposed to click on the image and then replace it. Okay, so, but if I want to change something simple like replace the image, right? I can just change that in the popup.html. The manifest is what controls everything for a Chrome extension. But then if I go here and I click refresh, you can see now it says replace the image. Now if that's not working. But yeah, so probably something's going on in my popup.js. So yeah, I'd have to, so yeah, you can go into the options page. Oh yeah, that's what I have to do. So I have to go into the options page and I have to find a URL. So if I want to find like a Yoda baby image, and then we'll select this one, and then I can right click, copy link address, and paste that right here. I don't think that did it because I don't think that's a real image. So now if I copy image address, let's paste that just to be safe. Okay, that is a real image, so it looks good. So then we paste that in, we hit submit, and now I can go into my birds, and I bet this will work. If I refresh. Yeah, so now I can replace all the images with baby Yodas.
Whoa.
So yeah, so yeah. So So yeah, that's a lot of fun. Yeah, and they can do this with whatever you want. So maybe we can build this next time. We can build this Chrome extension from the starter kit to the thing to finish. But yeah, and you know, there's actually I'm working at a startup right now. Total side note, that's having me build a Chrome extension. So people do build these things professionally. There's not as many jobs as there's definitely way more React jobs. So if you're studying for a job, definitely study React or something like that. But there are Chrome extension jobs out there. Just a FYI. Not that I'm here to give career advice. Oh, sorry, just stretching out.
Yeah. Noah, so for Hack the Google, like how many lessons like would like typically a student hack Google, like, you know, after 3 or 4 lessons and they're like, I want to move on to the next thing, or
5 or 6, because I mean we can take it as deep as they want. I mean, and like what I'll do too is like what I've been having students do is just like I this is just my opinion, but I kind of realize they don't remember anything I say, and it's not personal, right? It's not personal, like they're not like it's more entertainment. So one of the skills that I realized I could teach them, like, right? Because like how to Google coding problems, that's like a real skill that like everyone needs to have. So like I'll be like, okay, like what do you want to do with Google? Like you want to change the image, right? So how do you script? I try to teach them how to Google, how to change image, and then have them like go through the process of Googling it, because that's like teach them how to look up the information, you know. So because I think that's like I think that's like something that they'll definitely need to learn a lot, because there's no way they're going to memorize all this. I don't have all this memorized at all. So especially if they're 9. So like, we got to be realistic. But yeah, and I tend to prefer this website. I'm a little biased to it, but W3 Schools I really like, because it taught me how to code, and it's been around forever, and I know everything on there is like really safe and good. So sometimes I'll have them like go to the CSS section and do that. One thing too, I don't know how. I know a lot of you all are CS majors, but I don't know how much of you are web majors, or not web majors, but are web developers. But one thing I wanted to show you as well, since I'm here, is Google Fonts. This is a really great website, and you can like customize your font and do that. So yeah, I highly recommend using these in your projects. So yeah, and you can, yeah, so you just select it, and then I would say select this style, and then it gives me all the information I need to include it in my CSS. And then I can have a really funky font. And like usually what I'll do is like, because like I'm not like a font expert, so I'll say like Google Fonts scary, and like it'll take me to like website 10 best scary fonts for Halloween, and then like and then they'll pick one of those or something, you know.
yeah.
So they can kind of mess with that.
No, I definitely use Google Fonts in like my beginner HTML CSS lessons. You know, after they do basic HTML tags, then we go, and then I have them go to Google Fonts and switch it up and then stylize it the way they want to do it.
Definitely. Cool. Yeah, I think the thing is like, just to level with everyone, I think the biggest thing is like just having fun. Like that's what I've learned like the past year, is just like it's more important to have fun than it is for them to actually learn how to code. Because like if they're like, you can really ruin it for somebody, I think, and I might have ruined it for like 1 or 2 kids. like by kind of being like a drill sergeant, you know, and like being so hard and like you have to know every single symbol and like and a lot of kids like they're just like I was working with this Roadblocks Lua kid and he's 8 years old and he's just learning what a comma is, you know what I mean? And like we're expecting him to like, you know, write like full lines of Lua code. It's just yeah, I think like we gotta I'm just telling this more for myself. I gotta go easier on these kids, you know, they're not like they're not adults. You know, their hands aren't even big enough to touch the keyboard. Like
Well, I know it's 7 o'clock. Thank you so much, Noah. Thank you everybody for coming.
Thank you.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Noah.
Yeah, thanks.
yeah, if you have any questions or any ideas, let me know. And if you have any feedback, let me know, positive or negative. I want to hear it.
Yeah. And feel free to throw it in the Discord too. If you guys are working on these projects, you can always we can always tag each other in the channels. Like there is a web dev channel too, so feel free to like, you know, reach out to each other. Yeah. All right. Well, thanks again, Noah. Thank you, everybody.